Welcome to our channel, where we analyze police contacts to determine who did what was good and what was wrong. This episode covers arrests for traffic infractions, taser use, and different crimes and is presented to us by Police Activities Channel. Please read the description below and give them the credit they deserve. On July 16, 2019, 65-year-old Grandma Debra Hamil was pulled over by Officer Massini of the Cashin Police Department for driving her pickup with a broken tail light in Cache, Oklahoma. The interaction that ensued was filmed by Officer Massini's body camera.
Hello.
Hi.
So what's going on with your truck?
It's been hit, and we're waiting to see if I can't find a bed for it, a short bed. It's drivable.
Yeah, but it's not legal because you got a busted taillight. You got your driver license and insurance on you?
I've driven it up here ever since it's been like this.
How long ago has it been like that?
Probably about 6 months.
Oh, okay. Well, you've had plenty of time to get it fixed.
I've driven it up here a lot.
Live here in town?
No, my name's Hamil. I live out on Highway 74.
Hamil, huh?
Yeah, Hamil.
Related to Hank?
I'm his mother.
Oh, okay. Yeah, busted taillight seems to be a pattern with the Hamils.
Well, y'all had a headlight out on one of your cop cars the other night.
We did?
Yeah, but I just don't tell you.
We should have.
Yeah, I guess I should.
All right, sit tight for me. I haven't decided yet. Stay in the vehicle. All right, Miss Hamil. Since you informed me that you've had that for 6 months.
Oh yeah, and we're just looking for a bed because we can't find a short bed. I mean, my brother's looking for it.
Can you at least get the light?
They've got lights on them, don't they? They do have lights in them, and they do work.
Well, it's broken.
Yeah, I know it's broken.
So if you hit your brake lights, that white bulb's going to blind somebody at night.
Oh, okay. Well, can I put red tape on it? Will that work?
Yeah, but I don't think red tape's going to help you there. You don't have enough plastic to tape over.
Well, you know, I kind of hate to buy one if I'm going to get the whole bed and it's going to have everything on it.
I got you.
You know, I just don't want to spend the money.
I understand.
And, you know, I don't drive it to Texas. I don't drive it in the city. I go to Guthrie, Kingfisher. I'm going right now to check on cattle.
Okay. Well, I did issue for a defective equipment. It's $80. You have till September 16th to take care of this. Get you to sign there with the Exodus.
So you don't even give a warning for this?
You've been driving around for 6 months like that.
I'm truthful.
Well, I'm not going to give you a warning for something you've been driving for 6 months.
But you've seen me in here. You've seen me in town.
No, I haven't.
You had to if I've been up here.
Nope. Either way, I'm issuing you a citation. Sign there, please.
Well, I don't want to sign it because I don't want to do $80.
You don't want to sign it?
No, because I don't think that I deserve to pay $80 for something that is fixable and I can fix it.
All right.
If that's all you want to do.
Go ahead and step out of the car.
Why?
Because you're under arrest.
When Miss Hamil refuses to sign the citation, Officer Massini guides her to exit the vehicle. Because she is under arrest, we looked at the Supreme Court rule established in the 2001 case of Atwater v. City of Lago Vista that, quote, if an officer has probable cause to believe that an individual has committed even a very minor criminal offense in his presence, he may, without violating the Fourth Amendment, arrest the offender. However, state law could impose stricter restrictions on when someone can be arrested for minor offenses. Section 16-108 of Title 47 of the Oklahoma statute states that, quote, whenever a person is halted by a peace officer for any violation of this title punishable as a misdemeanor, the officer shall proceed in accordance with the State Municipal Traffic Bail Bond Procedure Act.
Under the State and Municipal Traffic Bail Bond Procedure
Act, which includes Section 1115.1 of Title 22 of the Oklahoma statutes, quote, any person who is arrested by a law enforcement officer solely for a misdemeanor violation of a state traffic law or municipal traffic ordinance shall be released by the arresting officer upon personal recognizance if the arrested person has been issued a valid license to operate a motor vehicle. The arresting officer is satisfied as to the identity of the arrested person. The arrested person signs a written promise to appear as provided for on the citation, and the violation does not constitute a felony negligent homicide driving while influence of alcohol or other intoxicating substances, or eluding or attempting to elude a law enforcement officer. Therefore, under Oklahoma law, an individual's signature on a traffic citation is not an admission of guilt, but rather a promise to appear in court or pay the fine for the traffic offense. However, because Miss Hamil refused to sign the citation, Officer Messini was not required to release her on personal recognizance under this statute, and the court would likely conclude that he did not exceed his authority by placing her under arrest for the underlying traffic offense after she refused to sign the promise to pay or appear.
Step out. I'm giving you a lawful order. Step out.
You be fair with me and I'll be fair with you.
Step out.
No.
You're under arrest.
No, I'm not.
I'm placing you under arrest. Step
you
out.
You are full of shit because you're not placing me under no damn arrest.
Step out.
No, I'm not.
Do not take off.
Shut up and give me that and I'll sign it.
Step out.
No.
We're beyond that.
Do you want me
Step out. .305 dispatch. Got one taken off. See your hands! Get out of the car! 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 Get out of the car!
You better leave me!
Put your hands behind your back!
Leave me alone!
Put your hands behind your back!
No!
Now!
I said leave me alone and I mean it! Leave me alone!
After she refuses to exit, Officer Messini physically pushes Miss Hamil out of the car, throws her to the ground, and tries to arrest her, but Miss Hamil kicks Officer Messini, who backs away since she won't put her hands behind her back. When Miss Hamil tries to stand up, Officer Messini then takes out his taser and uses it. Section 643 of Title 21 of the Oklahoma statute states that, quote, to use or to attempt to offer to use force or violence upon or toward the person of another is not unlawful when necessarily committed by a public officer in the performance of any legal duty. However, this statute does not mean that officers have unlimited discretion to use what force they choose to employ in any situation. To determine whether a use of force is constitutionally excessive, courts generally consider the three factors outlined by the Supreme Court in the 1989 case of Graham v. Connor: the severity of the crime, whether the suspect posed an immediate threat, and whether the suspect was actively resisting or trying to arrest by flight. In the 1993 case of Hinton v. City of Elwood, the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals, which has jurisdiction over Oklahoma, ruled that the use of a stun gun was not excessive when an unarmed, outnumbered criminal violently resisted officers by kicking his feet, moving his arms, and biting the officers as they attempted to handcuff him. Additionally, in the 2017 case of United States v. Morgan, the same court concluded that officers acted reasonably when they tasered an individual who planted his arms under his stomach to prevent the officers from handcuffing him and refused to comply with their orders to show his hands, even though the individual did not otherwise physically resist the officers. Here, Miss Hamil's initial offense was a minor traffic infraction, and it's likely that she didn't immediately constitute a threat to the responding cops. However, her attempt to flee and kick Officer Messini made the situation more serious, and given that the 10th Circuit has upheld the use of tasers against people who resist being handcuffed, it is likely that the court would rule that Officer Messini's use of force in this case was constitutionally reasonable.
Put your hands behind your back! Lay down and put your hands behind your back.
I will stand up.
Now!
I will stand up.
No, you will not.
What are your...
.305 dispatch. Go ahead and start EMS. Taser deployed, one female, custody. Why didn't you just sign the damn ticket?
Because I felt like you would be fair with me, because I have been in town forever with this thing. I've been on go to and get a damn thing for me.
Do you realize you just got yourself in a whole lot more trouble?
what?
For running?
Oh, I didn't run. I told you you weren't going to arrest me. I pulled him here thinking that you would not.
Officer Massini tells Miss Hamil that she got herself into a lot more trouble by running, and eventually she was charged with eluding, resisting, obstructing, and assault and battery on an officer. Section 444 of Title 21 of the Oklahoma statute states that, quote, it is unlawful for any person after being lawfully arrested or detained by a peace officer to escape or attempt to escape from such peace officer. Likewise, Section 540A of Title 21 of the Oklahoma statute states that, quote, any operator of a motor vehicle who has received a visual and audible signal, a red light and a siren from a peace officer driving a motor vehicle, directing the operator to bring the vehicle to a stop, and who willfully increases the speed or extinguishes the lights of the vehicle in an attempt to elude such peace officer, or willfully attempts in any other manner to elude the peace officer, is guilty of a misdemeanor. Although case law applying these statutes is limited in the 1987 case of Algie versus State, the Court of Criminal Appeals of Oklahoma noted that an individual violated both of these statutes when he originally stopped for an officer's lights and siren, then drove off at a high rate of speed after the officer approached the stop vehicle. Therefore, based on the fact that Miss Hamil attempted to drive away from the scene, it is likely that a court would find that she attempted to elude and escape Officer Massini. Additionally, Section 268 of Title 21 of the Oklahoma statutes, which codifies the offense of resisting an officer, states that, quote, every person who knowingly resists by the use of force or violence any executive officer in the performance of his duty is guilty of a misdemeanor. In the 1976 case of Reams versus State, the Court of Criminal Appeals of Oklahoma held that jerking away from an arresting officer's grasp, accompanied by threats, was sufficient to establish resistance by force and violence. It is also possible that a judge would decide that Miss Hamil purposefully opposed Officer Massini by using force or violence because she kicked at him when he was attempting to handcuff her. Similarly, Oklahoma's obstruction statute, found in Section 540 of Title 21 of the Oklahoma statute, states that, quote, any person who willfully delays or obstructs any public officer in the discharge or attempt to discharge any duty of his or her office is guilty of a misdemeanor. In the 2009 case of U.S. versus Sanchez, the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals found that an individual violated the obstruction statute when he fled after officers ordered him to get on the ground. Here, because Miss Hamil refused to comply with Officer Massini's order to exit the vehicle and drove away from him. Instead, a court would likely find that she willfully delayed and obstructed him from carrying out his duties. Finally, Section 649 of Title 21 of the Oklahoma statutes, which covers assault and battery on a police officer, states that, quote, every person who knowingly commits any assault upon the person of a police officer, or, quoting again, knowingly commits battery or assault and battery upon the person of a police officer, is guilty of an offense. Section 641 of the same title defines an assault as, quote, any willful and unlawful attempt or offer with force or violence to do a corporal hurt to another, while Section 642 defines battery as, quote, any willful and unlawful use of force or violence upon the person of another. Therefore, as the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals explained in the 2022 case of United States versus Winrow, quote, every consummated battery in Oklahoma necessarily includes an assault. Given the situation, it seems as though Miss Hamil kicked Officer Massini in the leg at least once, which a court would probably certainly find to be both an assault and a battery.
Here, go ahead and roll to your back. All right, sit on your butt.
I'm trying.
Are you hurt?
Yeah, I'm hurt.
What hurts?
Everything.
All right, I got EMS on the way. Just hang tight.
You got a what on the way?
I got an ambulance on the way. Check you out.
Ambulance? I don't need an ambulance.
Miss Hamil declined medical treatment after her arrest, but officers took her to the ER for an evaluation before taking her to jail.
Well, you got tased, so they got to check you out.
Well, can you just stand me up?
Yeah.
Miss Hamil says, stand me up, but the officer couldn't get him up.
Oh, I'm heavy. Like, oh, don't do the arms that way.
Well, how do you want me to hold you up?
I don't know.
Well,
Can you get me in front?
How about you just lean up against my leg, all right?
Lean up against your leg.
Yeah.
Two more police officers come and he makes Hamil stand up.
Yeah, if you don't mind, help me get her up. There we go.
And they hug sadly.
Yeah, 10-4, she's in custody.
Officer Massini immediately orders the police to leave.
Sir, you guys go stand over there. All right, walk to my car, ma'am.
Officer Massini places Hamil in the car and questions him.
Go ahead and have a seat. I'll turn the air on, let you cool down.
Can you pull your seat up or something? Or
That's as much as we got. So, why didn't you take off?
Because I knew that you would arrest me.
I wasn't going to. All you had to do was sign a ticket.
But can you, well, just listen to me a minute. Do you know that nobody wants to come to Cashin for any reason whatsoever? Because they know it's going to be an $80 fine for some dumb something all the time.
Well, when you're driving around like that, where do you think you can go driving around and get away with like that?
Guthrie, Kingfisher, because I'm going through Kingfisher right now to go to Loyal.
You may not listen.
And I've bought groceries.
You may not like the laws, but we're here to enforce them. Whether that be in Cashin, Oklahoma County, or wherever.
Who's you guys? You're saying the Hamils.
The citizens.
Guys.
The citizens of Cashin. All right.
Citizens of Cashin.
You break the law in Cashin, we're going to enforce it.
Yeah.
Whether you're a Hamil or not. Okay.
No. You did this. You did not have to taser me.
You wouldn't comply. You wouldn't get out, and then you tried to kick me. So
Why?
yes, I did.
Yeah, I tried to kick you because I'm a country girl. Because no, I
and
didn't
you got
like being
tased
thrown
because
on the
of
floor.
it.
Yes, and I didn't like being thrown on the damn ground.
Well, next time, listen to what I'm telling you to do. You're the one that escalated this. All you had to do was sign. You would have been on your way.
Sign an $80 ticket that I had no business of even getting.
You told me you've been driving that for 6 months. That's half a year.
That's right.
Okay.
And every time that we try to find...
According to online court records, Miss Hamil was eventually charged with assault and battery on a police officer, which is a felony offense, resisting, obstructing, eluding, and operating a vehicle with defective equipment. On July 21, 2020, Miss Hamil pleaded guilty to all 4 misdemeanor charges, but the felony assault and battery charge was dropped. As part of a plea bargain, Miss Hamil received a 4-year deferred sentence and was ordered to pay a fine of $50 for each count. Over 50 people attended a Cashin City Council meeting shortly after Miss Hamil's arrest to discuss the incident. A group of women supporting Ms. Hamil was there wearing lime green shirts that read, "Old Ladies Against Tasing and Old Ladies' Lives Matter." Other members of the community were there to express their support for the Cashin Police Department or their understanding for both heights. Based on legal counsel, the Cash and police chief refrained from commenting on the situation, and as of the day this incident was written, Officer Massini was not the subject of any public inquiries or disciplinary actions. A press release by Miss Hamil's attorney Edward Blau described Officer Massini's actions as, quote, egregious and unnecessary, and claimed that they served, quote, no purpose other than to torment and embarrass Miss Hamil. He also stated they, quote, are exploring all legal actions which may be taken to vindicate Miss Hamil's civil rights. However, as of the date of writing this episode, it does not appear that Miss Hamil has filed a lawsuit or taken any other legal action. Overall, Officer Massini gets a C- because, although he maintained a professional tone and demeanor throughout the encounter and a court would likely find that his use of force was constitutional, I simply cannot condone the use of a taser on an elderly woman, even one who was engaged in low-level physical resistance like Miss Hamil, despite her resistance. I find it difficult to accept that Miss Hamil truly posed a danger to Officer Massini, and I believe he should have attempted to subdue her using less dangerous and painful methods of force before resorting to the use of a taser, particularly given the fact that elderly individuals are at higher risk of death or serious injury from tasers. This encounter illustrates how what courts consider to be constitutionally quote-unquote reasonable force does not always align with the minimum amount of force that's necessary, and how consequent officers can sometimes endanger citizens without having to fear potential repercussions. Miss Hamil gets an F for fleeing the scene rather than submitting to arrest and kicking Officer Massini as he attempted to handcuff her now. Well, I do not believe, officer. Messini should have used a taser on Miss Hamil. Her conduct likely made it constitutional for him to do so, and had Miss Hamil simply sign the citation, which was not admission of guilt, she could have tested it the right way in court instead. Miss Hamil opted to participate in illegal behavior, and as a result, rather than a simple equipment violation, she now has 3 additional criminal offenses on her record. Please let us know in the comments below if there is a personal or legal issue that you would like us to write about.